Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville is an objectively broken game. Don't believe me? Okay then, here's why. Now, from that intro you might be saying, hey, but Mason, innovation is a good thing, and you're correct. Innovation is how we got the godsend that is Titanfall 2's movement system, that then went on to be implemented into one of the world's most popular battle royales at the time, Apex Legends. But the key word there would be sometimes, and Battle for Neighborville has no idea how to use innovation in moderation. Okay, so the first piece of evidence we were given that this game would be failure is the addition of sprinting. Originally, this was an innovative and fun idea that I believed would make the game better, but in the Founders Edition, this was proved to not be the case. With sprinters being everywhere, the game was much worse. Now, you might be asking, what is a sprinter? Well, in the early days of Battle for Neighborville, it was optimal to sprint as far away from everyone else as possible once you take even the slightest bit of damage. And as the sprinting animations were so bizarre, it was impossible to get a good hit on whoever was sprinting at the time, which led many people away from the game. But here's where this mistake was corrected. After a couple patches, the ability to sprint was severely nerfed, making you extremely slow after being shot. However, with every step they took forwards, they took 2 steps back. Because at the start of the game, most characters were either insanely OP or unusable. PopCap said that they were taking balancing more seriously in this game, but this clearly wasn't true, as most games consisted of purely nightcaps, oaks, SBs, and space stations. And speaking of poor game balancing, that brings me on to my next point. Variants were a crucial part of Plants vs Zombies' identity as a series, and gave them much needed gameplay variety, and removing them has to be the single biggest mistake in PopCap's history as a company, aside from everything that they're doing with Plants vs Zombies 3, that is. Anyway, in Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2, I was never much of a completionist, and literally only ever got my main into max rank, but the reason for that is the variants. They offered so much variety in how you could play the game that it was difficult to pick a character, which, as bad as it sounds, actually made the game better. Because in Battle for Neighborville, I never got a single character to max rank, and here's why. Lack of gameplay variety. If you're almost there with a character and get bored, you're always able to just switch to another variant of the same character for a bit, and then switch back when you're ready to go back on the grind again. However, that is not an option in Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville. You are forced to play the same stale, repetitive modes with no variety whatsoever, using no tactics, even though PopCap said that they would be focusing on making the game more balanced. But with that attempt to make the game more tactical, all they did was make it more brain-numbing, because they don't know how to balance the game. Which brings me onto my final point. So far, Battle for Neighborville was a tolerable sequel to Garden Warfare 2, answering most fan requests such as time to kill issues, and all PopCap had to do to propel the game forwards was fix the one greatest issue in the game, damage drop-off. The addition of this would likely have propelled the game forwards, because it would encourage up-close and fast-paced gameplay, whilst also allowing a slower play style with the snipers being in the game. But no, this was the last straw. Out of all of the unnecessary innovations that got all of the hate that they did, you would have thought they would just stick to the tried and true formula of damage drop-off, but instead they added range drop-off, which literally just made the game more awkward to play. If I wanted range drop-off, I'd play Fortnite, but I'm not playing Fortnite, am I? No, I am playing Plants vs Zombies. Make the game Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, and don't play about with this many new ideas in this short of a time. Use innovation in moderation.